The media and Democrats continuing their fear campaign over former President Trump as we reach the final 2 weeks before the election.
Yes, I do believe that Donald Trump is unstable, increasingly unstable, and unfit to serve.
The fact of the matter is, this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person, and that's a bad combination.
This is somebody who wants unchecked power. We do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails.
Donald Trump is the stupidest and most dangerous presidential candidate in history.
He is a menace to democracy. He's threatening to sick troops on protesters.
He is a genuine threat to our democracy. And that's not hyperbole. That is the God's truth.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had.
You know they losing, bro. John, can you write this letter so we can do a press conference 10 days before the election? This is not come out. I don't know if anybody says nothing about this Hitler thing until right now. Now he comes out with an op-ed or something. And now she has to do a press conference.
John Kelly's credibility has already been called into serious question by the suckers and losers comments that he attributed to Donald Trump, and yet everybody else in the room said he never said them. Do we believe John Kelly after the suckers and losers lie? Oh, but it gets much worse.
It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans.
Can you believe that someone actually prepared that statement and she stepped out to that podium and read those words? This isn't even desperation anymore. This is disgusting. This woman has absolutely no business anywhere near the White House. If she's willing to say this 14 days before an election, knowing what that rhetoric could potentially do.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you clear your crowd and you go back on them and you tell them they're not welcome anymore. Not only are they planning on a civil war if they have to do that, but he's spelling it out.
Those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump.
They go low, we kick them.
And guess what? It's the MAGA gang. It is the white supremacy.
Even if we were to have the resounding blue wave come through, putting it all back together again after we've gone through this MAGA nightmare and re-educating, basically. But that sounds like a rather a re-education camp. I don't think we really want to call it that.
MAGA extremists are trying to take over our schools.
And it's not funny, because you're a threat to democracy.
The other side is all about chaos, dysfunction, and extremism. Lies about the vice president. She was never assigned the position of border czar. They're making that up because extreme MAGA Republicans are in full meltdown.
And to be praising Adolf Hitler is dangerous, and it's also disgusting.
Reported that Donald Trump said, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had.
Confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler.
It's the lies and propaganda pushed by your party, pushed by the media that you control in order to divide Americans. The gaslighting and projection has to stop.
All right, y'all. So obviously the panic is at an all-time high with these dirty Dems. I'm talking unreal at this point. I mean, goodness gracious, how delusional and Trump deranged can you be to keep comparing Big 47 to Hitler? Let's remember what Donald's really done, though, and try to live in reality for a second. Can we do that? He avoided getting us into any wars. He's fought to keep illegal criminals out of our country. He was the most pro-life president in our nation's history that made it possible for Roe v. Wade to get overturned. Then you got Adolf, who's who's arguably one of the worst human beings of all time, a man that mass deleted millions of innocent Jews' lives. You got that guy, and then you got the big bad orange boogeyman, according to these people on the left, who's potentially saved millions of innocent baby blessings' lives and fought to protect all of us in the process. He has literally taken bullets for the freedoms of our country, to fight and defend the rights that we have, that were established back in 1776, that these lefties want to just eradicate and get rid of and try to rewrite history. I can guarantee you that Trump would much rather not get shot at, just go about his day-to-day life, enjoying his money, golfing, spending time with his grandkids and all of that, than have to go into work every day risking his life. Don't you think he would rather do that? But again, he cares about freedom. He cares about the American dream. He sees how things have went to crap and hell in a handbasket, and he's the only one who's going to stand up and buck the system. He's not a politician. He's a businessman that handles business, and that's why we love him. So do y'all not see the stupidity in associating these two men with each other? It's literally absurd. Then again, you can't make sense out of nonsense. These libs can't cheat like they did back in 2020, or at least we hope not. So what they're doing now is resorting to pulling fairy tales out of their butt about Trump. They do it time and time again, trying for the millionth time to destroy his image and brainwash these ignorant folks out there with the CNN brains that believe that he's Satan himself. Except there's one little problem. They've been investigating the man for 8 years and have came up empty every time. Still stuck at zero, like the amount of votes that Kamala received to be the Democratic nominee. And that's because you can keep repeating, twisting, remixing hateful lies about Trump being Hitler till the cows come home, till you're blue in the face. But spoiler alert, he's already been president, you goofballs. So we the people who still reside in the realm of common sense, the ones that still have connected brain stems, I don't mean that to be rude, I just call it like it is, but we know that this couldn't be further from the truth when somebody calls him Hitler, like a fascist, a racist, all of that hot garbage. We know who stands on business and puts American and Christian values first. And we also know who glorifies a satanic agenda and has degraded our country for the past 4 years as second in command in this administration. You and I see straight through the bullcrap, and we realize that these are nothing more than desperation tactics that really just expose how badly she's losing this thing. And 12 days from now, that's exactly what's going to happen. I know it in my heart of hearts, y'all, that the Lord is going to do some major rearranging in that White House, and we're going to get back to making America great and righteous again. Ephesians 6 verse 10 through 18 says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you've done everything to stand, stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people." Amen. So please, y'all, keep praying for the protection of Donald Trump, his family, all of us who aren't afraid to speak the truth in the face of evil. Keep us in your prayers and keep being one of those people yourself. Show this to all your loved ones, people that are still lost, that are undecided. The choice should be obvious, but some people still aren't awake to the truth. But keep praying for our land to be healed from all this wickedness and strengthened by people discovering the truth of Jesus Christ. And if you haven't voted yet, for the love of God and America, make the only logical decision and check conservative all the way down the ticket. Let's get it poppin'.
In our movement, we love Christians, we welcome believers, and we embrace followers of Jesus. Jesus wants to be Lord of your life. So there's only one person that can do it all the way. You know who that is? Jesus Christ. And above all else, we know this. In America, we don't worship government, we worship God. You can do all you want, but you still need help from the boss. You need help from the boss. Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." They said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." They said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
See, instead of arresting Christians for peacefully protesting and kicking them out of his rallies for saying Jesus is Lord, the video I just showed you is what we've seen and are seeing from Donald Trump. Check out what happened at one of his recent rallies.
Our Father, which art in heaven, come on everybody, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
To me, the choice is clear.
And the only people supporting Kamala Harris are the ones that are happy robbing more from you and covering up for their crimes. Let me say that again. The only people supporting Kamala Harris are comfortable robbing more from you and covering up for your crimes. For 50 years, this part of America has grown poorer while the kingdom of Washington, D.C. has grown infinitely richer. The wealthiest counties in America are all centered around Washington, D.C. And the heartland of this country and the industrial base of this country, where the muscular class built this country, have seen their jobs shipped over to China, and we got a bunch of opioids in return and piles of plastic and deteriorated neighborhoods that we no longer recognize. And in a series of events that only God could orchestrate, in a series of events that only our divine Father could put together, the most unusual set of circumstances is that a billionaire from New York had to get in the arena to tell the other billionaires that have been robbing you, the game is over, you're fired, and the American people are back in charge again.
And Donald Trump's the only president you ever heard who talked about protecting the American workers so that they can have jobs, bring them back here, and make it work here. And that's the whole point.
What is Trump's appeal to black voters?
When he was president, the economy worked. People were making more money. Prices were stable. That's the general appeal. You add on top of that, the border was secured and we weren't getting into unnecessary wars and conflicts. That's the other appeal. Last piece is Donald Trump, whether you like the tweets or not, he was direct in what he was going to do, and he actually did it. There's comfort in that. So when people are comparing Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, they're comparing the last two presidential administrations. And without a doubt, Donald Trump had a better presidential administration. That's what you're hearing across the country. That's what you're hearing, no matter the demographic groups. More and more people are supporting Donald Trump. That's why he's going to win in 12 days.
One thing that I know about Donald Trump is that, he's very focused on the things that voters care about right now. And they have, doesn't matter who says what about him, but they've got the experience that under President Trump, inflation was really non-existent. That we had peace abroad and we had prosperity at home. And I think that that's what the voters that are left to vote are going to be focusing on in the next 2 weeks.
So this is a hypothetical, Mr. President. If somehow Kamala Harris managed to win this, she would have to deal with Xi Jinping, with whom you have dealt for a long time. How would Xi handle her?
Like a baby. He'd take all the candy away very quickly. He wouldn't have any idea what happened. It would be like a grand chess master playing a beginner. We would lose our country or be in World War III. It could be that would happen too, because she'd get exasperated. She's in no way able to handle him. He's a fierce individual. I watched her charade last night on CNN. It was an embarrassment that she's running for president, representing a major party.
Trump 2024. Trump 2024. Trump, hey, Trump, hey, Trump, hey, Trump, hey, Trump 2024.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, ring the notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. If you like what I'm doing over here and you want to show a little extra love and support, make sure you go check out our website down below in the description section. That way you can get all the awesome shirts that you see me wearing in every single video. They're all made by my smoking hot wife with tons of different designs to choose from. Sizes ranges from itty bitty extra small to big and hefty 5X. I'm sure we got something that you like or a great gift for someone that you love. Outside of that, you can always join the Gibson family here on YouTube and become a member by clicking that join button. You can buy me a coffee. You can join the Patreon family. All those links are down below as well. By no means do you have to do any of that. Just showing up and watching my freckle face on your screens for a few minutes, I'm greatly appreciative. I love y'all, and I can't thank you enough for rocking with me throughout the years. Until next time, I'll be praying for you. Godspeed. I'm gone.